Only the best for you.
So much gold. I have never...
Deep in the heart of the savannah, where the baobab trees stand as ancient sentinels and the wind whispers secrets of the past, there lay the village of Omu. It was a place where life moved with the rhythm of the seasons, and every person knew their neighbor's name. In Omu, wealth was not measured by the size of one's hut or the number of cattle in the kraal, but by the integrity of one's heart and the depth of one's wisdom. At the center of this community was Elder Mbeki, a man whose skin was as wrinkled as a dried plum, and whose eyes held the clarity of a mountain stream. He rarely spoke, for he believed that words were like precious water, not to be wasted on dry ground. People came from far and wide just to sit in his presence, hoping to catch a glimmer of the peace that seemed to radiate from him like heat from a dying fire. However, the peace of Omu was soon disturbed by the arrival of a man named Zaid. Zaid was a merchant from the bustling coastal cities, a man whose robes were made of the finest silk and whose fingers were heavy with rings of gold. He didn't come to Omu to seek wisdom. He came to seek profit. Zaid saw the simple lives of the villagers not as a testament to contentment, but as an opportunity for exploitation. He set up a grand stall in the market, filled with shimmering trinkets, exotic spices, and mirrors that promised to show a person their true beauty. But Zaid's scales were weighted, and his heart was hollow. He would trade a handful of salt for a whole goat, or a single glass bead for a sack of precious grain, all while wearing a smile that never quite reached his eyes. The villagers, initially enchanted by the novelties Zaid brought, soon began to feel the sting of his greed. Families found their granaries emptying while Zaid's treasure chest grew heavier. Whispers of discontent began to swirl through the village like dust before a storm. They spoke of the unfair trades and the merchants' cold calculations. Yet, Zaid was clever. He always had a contract, a signed agreement, or a witness who had been bribed with a small favor. He operated within the letter of his own law, even as he trampled on the spirit of the village. The people felt helpless, trapped by their own honesty in the face of his calculated deception. One sweltering afternoon, after Zaid had cheated a young widow out of her last remaining cow, the villagers gathered at the feet of Elder Mbeki. They did not shout or wail. They simply sat in a heavy, expectant silence. They knew the elder had been watching. Finally, the widow spoke, her voice trembling but clear. She told the story of the trade, of how Zaid had promised the cow would be used to provide milk for the orphans in the next village, only for her to discover he intended to sell its hide for a high price at the coast. The elder listened, his gaze fixed on the horizon where the sun was beginning its slow descent. After a long time, he stood up, his movements slow and deliberate. He didn't say a word, but he began to walk toward the market. The villagers followed in a silent procession. When they reached Zaid's stall, the merchant was counting his gold, the clinking of coins, the only sound in the tense air. He looked up, his predatory smile wavering for just a second as he met the elder's eyes. "Old man," Zaid sneered, trying to regain his bravado. "Have you come to buy a mirror to see how much time you have left? Or perhaps some spice to liven up your bland life?" The elder did not respond to the insults. Instead, he took a seat on a small wooden stool directly across from the merchant. He signaled for the villagers to form a circle, and then he did something unexpected. He placed 3 smooth black stones on the table between them. The merchant laughed, a nervous, jagged sound. "What is this? A game of pebbles? I have no time for children's games." But the elder remained motionless, his eyes locked onto Zaid's. The silence grew heavy, pressing against the merchant like a physical weight. It was a silence that demanded an accounting. Elder Mbeki raised his hand and pointed to the first stone. He said nothing. He simply looked at the stone, then at Zaid, and then back at the stone. It was the first silent question. "Who are you when no one is watching?" Zaid felt a prickle of sweat on his brow. He tried to look away, but the elder's gaze was an anchor. He began to remember the late nights spent altering his ledgers and the secret joy he felt when he saw the desperation in a customer's eyes. Then the elder pointed to the second stone. Again, there was no sound, only the intense, searching look of a man who could see through shadows. This was the second silent question. "What do you carry? That isn't yours." Zaid's eyes darted to his treasure chest. He thought of the widow's cow, the grain from the elders, and the salt he had traded for gold. The weight of the rings on his fingers suddenly felt unbearable, as if the gold were turning into lead. The rings represented the sweat and tears of a village he had systematically drained. The silence was no longer empty. It was filled with the unspoken accusations of every person he had ever wronged. Finally, the elder pointed to the third stone. This was the final silent question. Where will you go when the gold can no longer follow? A cold shiver ran down Zaid's spine. He looked at the villagers, their faces illuminated by the orange glow of the setting sun. He saw their strength, their unity, and the legacy of the ancestors that lived through them. He looked at his own reflection in one of his expensive mirrors and saw a man who was utterly alone, surrounded by riches that could buy him everything except a place to belong. The merchant's facade finally cracked. He slumped in his chair, the gold coins spilling from his hands and rolling into the dust. Without a single word being spoken aloud, the truth had been laid bare. Zaid didn't wait for a trial or a sentence. He knew that the elder's silence had convicted him more thoroughly than any shouting match could. That night, under the cover of darkness, the merchant packed his belongings. Not his gold, for he left the chest open in the center of the square and vanished into the night. The villagers used the returned wealth to restore the widow's herd and replenish the communal granaries. Peace returned to Omu, and Elder Mbeki went back to his seat under the baobab tree. He remained a man of few words, but the village never forgot the day he trapped a greedy man using nothing but the truth and the profound power of silence.
Only the best for you today. These spices bring fortune, and the silk brings luck. I will make you a special price.
So much gold. I have never seen anything like it.
The merchant left it for us.
Perhaps it is a blessing.